Today's guest is Tracy Campoli, a fitness expert and content creator who's been on YouTube for 15 years. By 2023, she was bored, uninspired, and her channel completely flatlined. Posting the same fitness content that was working wasn't moving the needle anymore or bringing any leads to her online programs. She'd already tried working with a very well-known YouTube coach and saw zero traction with him.
I had worked with someone else and I was very excited about it. Like, oh, this is going to be great. And literally this gentleman was like, it was the most soul-sucking, depressing answer ever.
Then she made one decision that changed everything for her. In this conversation, we break down how she pivoted, how one video got 1.2 million views and transformed her channel, and how she went from almost no brand deals at all to doing them on nearly every single video, and what it's really like having a strategist, myself, embedded in your business every single day for a year and a half.
It was like, I'm just going to give this a go, and work with you. Basically, the entire calendar year, with the exception of, I don't know, maybe 8 videos, like the entire year, basically sponsored. Like, it's pretty rare to have a non-sponsored video.
If you've been creating content for years and you feel stuck, or if you're wondering whether investing in the right strategic support is actually worth it, then this conversation is for you. Hi, my name is Erika Vieira, a YouTube channel producer, strategist, and coach who's worked with nearly 2,500 female entrepreneurs, business owners, and creatives over the last decade, helping them grow on YouTube. And what I've learned is this: the difference between spinning your wheels and actually growing on YouTube isn't luck, it's strategy. That's what this show is all about. Real conversations with real creators about what it really takes to make YouTube work for you. If you want to learn more about how I work with high-achieving women entrepreneurs, business owners, and creatives like Tracy, as well as access to my free live YouTube workshop, the links are in the description below. Ladies, class is in session. Let's talk to Tracy. You are an OG on YouTube. You have been on YouTube for 15 years.
That's crazy.
Take it back. Take us back to 15 years ago when that Tracy decided to hop onto YouTube.
Oh my God. That's so wild. 15 years. First of all, I, in my head, think it's been 10, but 15, I mean, I have a teenager. So yeah, 15 years ago. So what happened? I had my own Pilates studio in New York. And I thought I was going to move. I thought I was going to leave New York. And so I created a DVD. Yes, that's how old we're talking. I had a DVD and it was really good. I had a client who lived in this like insane apartment in the West Village. She was like, why don't you shoot it here? And I was like, why don't I?
Sure.
Perfect. So it just looked great. It was, really like a very nice DVD. And so then when I ended up not moving, I realized like, well, my clients really love this. I'd love to get this in the hands of other people. And so then I was like, oh, YouTube. Like, and it was new. It was like, I wasn't even a watcher of YouTube. And so I had my first video. It's so
I'm gonna pull it up for you.
We
can see it.
Oh my gosh. There it is.
Is that it?
Yes. So I had broken ribs.
Oh, wow.
I had hurt myself I started with, hi guys, like the most cringe. Hi guys. And look at my hair. I mean, the hair is herring. Obviously there's no light, no sound. And do you know what that was made with? A flip video camera. Do you even remember those?
Yeah.
They were around for like literally 3 months. And I needed one because it's funny. I didn't even have a camera prior to this, but I had an agent like years before I used to do like commercial stuff. And she was like, I know you haven't been doing anything or you don't want to, but like something came up. I can't even remember what it was.
You needed an audition or something?
Yeah, it was an audition. And she was like, so I need you to record yourself. And I was like, you know what? I'll just get a flip video camera. So I did. And then I had it. And I was like, well, I might as well use it. So very, I think this is a great testament to like, do it before you're ready. Do it before you have I had no idea what I was doing other than like, maybe if I build an audience, maybe someone will want to buy my DVD. So funny story.
So it's all about your DVD. That's why you did it.
So I always was very business minded of like, okay, it wasn't just like, oh, I just want to be on camera, like at all. But the funny thing was I had a boyfriend at the time. So this is like many years ago. And not my husband now.
Yeah.
And I broke up with him.
Okay.
And then I woke up within like a week and it was like order. And I thought is he messing with me? Like, am I getting punked? But what happened was there's these like video forums that are
Okay.
all about fitness.
Oh,
And
and
somehow
DVD.
I got picked up. And these girls were like, who is this girl? And also, and I'm just going to name names, Tracy Anderson was like
Yeah.
new on the scene then. And my name is Tracy and I have blonde
Oh,
hair. So I think that actually helped a little bit. I
yes.
always put my name in the title. I mean, like, so it's so funny now thinking back because I didn't know what I was doing at all.
Yeah.
But I did know my name is Tracy. I have blonde hair. I know I'm a damn good teacher,
Yeah.
like some others. And I was just like, like, all right, like, let's do this. And so I just was doing what I knew to do.
Oh my God. It is Tracy's arm workout.
I
Because you
mean,
put
and the
Tracy.
funniest thing is like,
Is that the funny title? Like Tracy's arm workout?
I mean, why? Like,
Yeah,
and
but
people are like,
that's
who the
Tracy
heck are
Anderson.
you? You know what's so funny is now when I watch videos, there's certain phrases because I'm a huge YouTube watcher now, and you know
Yeah.
how people are like, well, you already know that I hate that phrase,
Mhm.
and I'm like, they don't already know that. Like,
Yeah.
how do you know these people already know?
Yes. They don't.
At
They
least
don't.
say if you've been here for a while. If
Yes.
you've been,
And
but like,
even then, people are like, "Oh, I didn't know."
right? It's so wild. But yeah, I would shoot like when I had a good hair day.
Yes.
No, I had no strategy. But I did sell a lot of DVDs.
You
And
did.
my third video was a commercial. I did too. And then I was like, here's a
You're like, this, workout available now. That was your commercial. Oh, the minute and a half. Yes.
Isn't it a nice apartment? I mean,
Yeah. In New York, huh? This was all
yeah.
in New York.
Yep.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. How funny.
Hilarious. Just
Wow.
a young girl doing her thing.
I mean, I didn't even know. I mean, you and I talk like every single day for like what, how many years at this point? I didn't know that whole
Yeah.
story.
Hilarious. I guess
So,
that's true. We haven't really, I feel like I'm
no.
blushing.
Oh my gosh, I love you made how to make a green juice with a blender with Tracy. With a
With
blender and Tracy. Love that title. Can you imagine doing that today, Tracy?
No, and it's so funny.
How did you
This
your skin
is crazy. This is so funny. Okay. The funniest thing was that fourth video. Like, woo, girl, you're onto something. I mean, I love me. This is
It's
so
the
funny.
Delulu. We all are a little bit Delulu who are on
Like,
YouTube.
first of all, like, love that lighting. Love it. Girl, you're like living the dream. Look at
Plates
the
in the
background. What is
background.
happening? But the other thing is, I remember this video in particular, people, I think because I like was being a little bit more myself and I messed up. And I was like, oops, just kind of being, and I remember people were always like, oh, that's so cute when you, like, I was starting to get some traction,
Mhm.
But then the other thing is like, I wasn't taking this seriously at all.
Yeah.
And then I had a friend that worked at Google.
Oh.
She wasn't helping me. I wish she was, but she was like, Tracy, one of your videos had like 100,000 views. I had no idea.
Oh wow.
No clue. And so things were just, organically kind of picking up. But again, blender and Tracy.
And Tracy, how to make cleansing green juice with a blender. I know it's hilarious.
I mean, we should recreate this. I think this would go really viral.
Actually, we should do a video like roasting my 15-year-old like cleansing green juice video.
I'm so here for it. Even
now I'm gonna give you titles, Tracy. I'm gonna be like how to apply your makeup with Tracy. That is so funny.
With a blender.
But you did it because of
beauty
Tracy
blender
Anderson,
and Tracy.
right?
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Smart. I mean, and I do remember you telling me this way back when we first started. You're like, yeah, I get kind of picked up sometimes as people are like searching Tracy Anderson.
Yeah,
and
they didn't know.
And,
I was like, surprise.
Even this one, look, Tracy's secret weapons, how to get a tiny waist.
And
Tracy,
that's my fifth video. Like,
and that's the one that got over 100,000 views, right? That your Google friend said.
Yes. So I mean, go me.
That is funny.
Honey.
Tracy, how to get a better butt in 6 minutes. Tracy works your legs and butt. That is funny. I'm not gonna let you live that one down. Now that I know.
Oh my God.
Look at this title. Coconut oil is the bomb.
The bomb.
But you know what though? Like 15 years ago, 13 years ago, you can get away with that because there was the competition was nothing compared to today.
I didn't know what the heck I was doing,
Yeah, that's funny. So, okay, so then what happened? I mean, that was 15 years ago. You got onto YouTube. You were trying to sell your DVD. You sold some DVDs.
I sold a lot of, And so then, there was a period of my life. So I was teaching Pilates. I was trying to build an online business. So the biggest
Mhm.
thing for me, and I think a lot of, people that follow you or in your community know,
Mhm.
like I knew like fitness as much as I love it. I'm still obviously really passionate about it. I wanted freedom and I wanted flexibility and you don't really have that when it comes to training, like you have to train people before they go to work. It's like 7 a.m. till like 10, maybe 11 if you've got someone with like a lot of flexibility, maybe a lunchtime break, and then after work. And I was like, this is for the birds. This like getting up at like 5:45 and then like working and then having to go back in at the time I was living, so I was like, I want freedom and flexibility. So this was like online business was new. And I was like, okay, like build a community, build. So I was like building a newsletter list and I would just send like a recipe or a tip. I mean, it's all me. It's all pretty much the same things I'm doing now, right? But just, you know, poorly
Yeah.
and, and
Yeah.
just doing my best, and trying to figure things out. And
Like
so,
scrappy. You're just
yeah,
like, you're like, let me just figure it out. Like this
totally.
world is new. I'm gonna take advantage of it. I like to be in front of the camera. Like,
Yeah, and
you know.
the biggest thing for me was, like, I wanna make a bigger impact,
Mhm.
like, how can I reach more people? That was the other thing because, like, yeah, sure, I was teaching at a gym at one point, and there would be, like, you'd have to be, like, crawling over people to move because it was, like, the class was packed, but what is that, like, 60 people, like, I was like, "I want, like, bigger," I wanna be able to help more people, I wanna be able to, like, share what I know, and so that was always the mission behind it. And so basically I did that for a long time and my business was evolving, then like, I don't even know. I might have still been working at the gym when I first started on YouTube. Then I started my own studio and like was on my own. And then I was, the online business was growing. So I'm a big fan of like overlapping. Like I'm not like F it, it'll figure itself. Like I like money and I like having, security. So I was always like doing one thing while building the other.
That's my philosophy. I mean, I had my corporate job, like honestly, like up until like a couple years ago. And like
Yeah,
I was making more money in this business than my corporate job, but it's like,
same,
why
same.
not like, it's like
Totally.
it adds a layer of security for sure.
It's more
And it
like
gives you
it just allowed me to, like, make decisions and even
freedom. Yes.
invest back into the business without, like, worrying about it? And so that went on for a while, and then just like you, I was like, "Wow, I'm, like, actually losing money having even my studio," like, 'cause I was making more money, with the online stuff, but I also just love my clients, like, that I was teaching in person. So, at a certain point then, fast forward to I started my fitness membership, which is now 10 years ago, just crazy. So I've had it for a long time, everyone's like, "Oh, COVID helped you." No, it didn't, because then I was, like, competing with, like, Equinox, like,
Yeah.
huge, but it's not competition. Like anyone that's in my fitness membership, they're in it because, they want that kind of sense of community and they want the
Mhm.
kind of workouts that I offer. And like, that's great. But,
Mhm.
my channel then evolved into just being like kind of sneak peeks into the membership.
Yes.
And
Okay.
that's
Let's pull
kind
that
of
up.
before, yeah. Which
That's when you reach
not
out to me.
fulfilling, not like,
Mhm.
I would just do like an intro, talk about what I was going to do, and then
Look at
do
these thumbnails with the heart.
well, that was like a challenge we were doing,
That's cute.
a Valentine's
I
Day.
mean, you've really done and tried everything. I
Tried
mean,
'em
look at
all. We
how
had a
many
lot of,
videos
like
do you have on your
a lot.
channel?
I don't know. That's a great question. Oh my god, there's one of me drinking espresso in Italy. Why? I don't know. With
Yeah.
bad hair extensions.
I want to take a minute to thank my sponsor for this video, Kiln. Kiln is an organization of co-working spaces all throughout the western half of the United States. This is where I'm filming right now, and if you happen to have a location near you, you're going to want to check it out. It's a place that you can film your content. If you are looking for a dedicated space outside of your own home, an office space that also has a benefit of being a community. There's so many amazing community events. There's the space itself is absolutely beautiful, and for me, it has been an absolute game changer for my business and for my YouTube channel. For me to be able to leave the house where sometimes things are quite noisy, quite crazy with the kids, with the gardener, with construction happening next door. It is so nice to know that I have this nice, beautiful, clean, quiet space that I'm able to work and I'm able to film. So thank you so much for Kiln for sponsoring this portion of the video. If you're curious about a co-working space for yourself, check out the links in the description below. Where is this at right now when you're like, okay, you almost are a little bit more intentional with YouTube of like, all right, I'm going to make this a sneak peek
for my workout program, basically.
Yes,
Right?
correct. I
Okay.
would say
How I Met My
I
Husband.
would
You're
say,
doing a
yeah,
little
I
lifestyle.
would say that started there's my new haircut, like, who cares? I worked with Gary Vee. Gary Vee and I did bat wings, so that was fun.
Oh, I didn't know you
But
worked with Gary Vee.
I mean, I
Did
didn't
you
work
work?
with him, but
Oh.
I did a video with him.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
so even in these videos that you're showing, that was my membership was going. We would do challenges a lot, and then we would get
Mhm.
members in. And then
Mhm.
I got to the point where I was like, if I do another challenge, I'm gonna like rip my eyes out.
Mhm.
Like it just started to not be fun for me, and that's obviously incredibly important for me. Like that
Yeah.
I'm actually enjoying what I'm doing. So at a certain point, my channel, I just wasn't getting the views. I wasn't even getting people into my membership. And like one thing I know, like inside and out, is like I'm a fantastic trainer. Like
Yeah.
it's just something like I've been a dancer my entire life. There's no need to be shy about it. Like I'm a good trainer, a very good
Yeah.
trainer. And there's
Yeah.
so many people out there that have massive channels or even businesses. And I'm like, that's not even training, like
Mhm. Mhm.
like I'm not going to talk while you're doing a workout. And especially, my girl that's in my, membership is usually like over 40. Like you need to know and understand, what am I doing? Why
What
am
am I
I
doing
doing this? Not
wrong?
like
Yeah.
flailing around like a, lunatic.
Mhm.
And so I was really just kind of like, what am I doing? Like it's time to make a change. That's sort of like when I approached you.
Mhm.
I had worked with someone else. I won't name names, but I'd worked with someone else. And I'm the kind of person, like I am always investing in myself and my business, always.
Mhm.
Like I
Mhm.
think it's a superpower, and it's like if you really want to be successful, you have to do that. And so I invested in this course, and I was very excited about it. Like, oh, this is going to be great.
Mhm.
And literally this, is a gentleman, like most YouTube people are, was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, you're an arm workout channel. Like, so just do arm workouts." And I
Yeah.
was like, like it was the most soul-sucking, depressing answer ever. And
Yeah.
like I quickly realized, like, okay, well, this was a waste of time and money because
Mhm.
this person isn't even willing to see, that there's
And he's
other.
a massive YouTube expert.
Yes, huge,
Mhm.
huge.
Huge. Yeah.
And, that was disheartening. And so then I kind of was like, should I invest in anyone else?
Mhm.
Because if this is the same conversation, and will never forget our first call. So I was literally like, I think I'm going to quit my channel. Like, I don't know what
Mhm.
I'm doing, but it's time to evolve, be like Madonna, always evolving,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was really starting to feel it. Like, and like when it's time. And I was like, okay, I'm going to quit. But I was focusing more on Instagram.
Mhm.
And I was getting a lot. I'd, gone from like 30,000 to like 110,000, followers on Instagram in like 10 months. So it was
Mhm.
working, but I was like, but I'm not seeing any change in my
Yeah.
business,
Yeah. Not
So like,
making.
I'm not about vanity numbers. I was like, that's great. And I love, again, like if someone just does an Instagram reel of mine and does a workout and they feel great, lovely. But at
Mhm.
the end of the day, like it's not a hobby,
Yeah.
And so I was ready to quit. And then I was like, I'm just going to give this a go, and work with you. And
Mhm.
I was very hesitant at first, I think I even reached out to you on Instagram,
You
and
did.
your
Yeah.
yeah, and your
I'm trying to find
intake
it.
was very, very deep and took a
Mhm.
long time. And I'm so grateful because it really helped me to remember at the core, like, why am I doing what I'm doing? Who is the person that I really want to reach? And that's especially important, I would say, even now, more so than even, I don't know, have we been working together almost 2 years now? Because I was like, as I get busy or I get overwhelmed or, like things feel, I'm like, wait a minute, why are you doing this? Oh, right. Like that is the reason, that is the mission behind all of this, So even if there's like craziness and annoying things, that's the same in any kind of career, it helps me to like forge the path a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I was looking back at our messages where you messaged me because I remember you messaging me, but I realized it was all voice memos. So I was gonna,
I'm a big voice noter.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, because I do, what I remember you said to me, like, I am very close to quitting YouTube.
Yeah, I was.
And I'm hiring you as my, you said this, like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
hire you as my last ditch
Yeah.
effort. You gave me the story of like who you were working with.
Yep.
I'd already invested in somebody
Yep.
else. It was a lot of money.
Yep.
And I'm at the end of my rope with YouTube.
Totally.
And I remember telling you, I'm like, or I remember thinking, I can't remember if I told you at the time, but I
Yeah.
remember thinking like, oh wow, I see so much potential in you. Like
Yeah.
I'm really excited to work with you
Yeah.
because I know that I can turn your channel around and I don't
Well,
want
the
you to
other
quit.
thing was I knew like all the channels that I watched, I was like, oh, they've all worked with Erika.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, okay, that can't be in it. Because those are channels that I actually enjoy. I'm not even talking like
Mhm.
fitness and wellness channels.
Yeah.
It would be like, whatever it is. And so, yeah. And it was interesting because it wasn't, look, at the end of the day, it's always about you, right? No,
Mhm.
and I think this is where sometimes people get things wrong, and I think I've invested in business enough to know that like, at the end of the day, you have to do the work. You as the consumer, you must do the work, right? You can't expect someone to save you.
Yeah.
And this point, I was like mature enough to know like Erica's not going to save me,
Mhm.
but I'm going to be totally open to like, what are your suggestions? What are you telling me to do? And I'm the kind of person, I hope you see this now. Like, it's like, you tell me to do it. And it's like 99% of the time, I'm like, okay, done. Like, I'm here for it. Like, you know more than I do. And like, let's go. I haven't quit.
With what? With what's
YouTube.
happening?
I didn't
Oh,
quit
well,
YouTube.
yeah. I mean, so then you brought me on and I know you're very hesitant and you did go all in, because I actually, it's interesting. I feel like I've said this before. I've said this to you too. Like,
Mhm,
I do feel like I'm like YouTube's best kept secret. It's like I'm
mhm.
not big like some of these other big like
Yeah,
YouTube experts, but like when people find me, I get this like, wow, I just found you and like I've tried this, I've tried this. You're like
yeah,
my last. I can't tell you the number of people that find me and they join me and they're like, "You're my last ditch effort." I'm like,
yeah, yeah,
okay.
totally. You're like, "Hey, at
Yeah,
least you're here
and like
now."
I'm the fixer, right?
Yeah,
So then what happened then? So what happened? Because it was a different. You had a whole business model. You're using YouTube as a way to bring people into your program. Nobody was
yes,
joining your program.
yep.
Like, were you on the verge of like quitting your business altogether, or was it just
No, never
YouTube?
my business, but
Okay.
YouTube, because I was just like, I love what I do. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm probably gonna be 90 years old still doing what I do. I mean,
Mhm.
honestly.
Yeah.
But I was like, I just feel like the way that I'm doing things, like I have to do it differently. I didn't even know, but no, my business I was still there for, but it was like using YouTube, like, why am I doing this? Like this, it's not fun. And so I remember filling out your intake, when I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And then we had our first call and I will never forget this. You said to me, I'm going to tell you so you seemed a little nervous. You said, I'm going to tell you something and you might not like it, but
Okay.
I'm going to just tell you anyway. And I was like, okay. And you're like, take it for what it's worth, but I just feel I need to tell you this. And you were like, I honestly don't care if you do another workout video ever
Yeah.
again. And I
Mhm.
was like, it was music to my ear. And let me make this very clear. I love fitness. I work
Mhm.
out constantly. I love my fitness membership. And I knew that like there's so much more to offer. And there's like, I just feel like business also has changed where it's like, just being who you're being, people are naturally going to be curious about you. What
Mhm.
are you doing for your body? What are you doing for food? What are you doing for
Mhm.
your skin? Right. And that's basically what you were saying. And it's wild how that really changed for me. You were not the first person to kind of say that to me. I had other like peers and colleagues, like entrepreneurs that had kind of said that to me, but I just wasn't ready. But at that time when you said it, I was like, yes, like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
let's go,
Yeah.
and
And
I think, yeah. And one of like the first videos that really hit was like a makeup
makeup
video.
one.
I'm not
Yeah.
a makeup artist at
No.
all,
No.
like not even close.
Yeah. And so
And
I think it was really case and I do remember and I have this with people. Like I realize like always when I'm working with someone one on one, like the intake is really important to me because
it's
I
intense.
spend
Yeah.
like when I work with someone one on one, I'm spending like a whole month getting to know that person through the
Mhm.
intake forms, through their content, through what they do. Like
Yeah.
so by the time I meet with them, I have a lot of ideas of what I want them to do, but I don't know them yet as a person
Yeah.
as like enough to know like how receptive are they to like
Yeah.
some of these changes I'm going to suggest,
For
right?
sure.
And I do think though when you're investing in something like one-on-one as opposed to say like my boot camp,
Sure.
it is a significant investment that I think once people get to that point, they're like, just tell me what to do. right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was what I was like, I don't need another course. Not to say
Mhm.
your course is fantastic and it's part of, and I remember I was like, oh, she's going to think I'm a flake because it took me a while
Yeah.
to get through the course. And you were like, you don't have to do the whole thing. But I was like, and it's big. Like your boot camp is intense,
Yeah.
like in a good way. And I was
Mhm.
like, I mean, I think it took me like almost 2.5 months, and,
Yeah.
and then I was like, oh, I don't need to like, let's start then. Let's
I was like,
go.
"No, you just need to do the first part." And you're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I already did that." I'm like,
I was like,
"Okay,
we're
then
ready.
let's just
Let's
do
begin.
this."
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, and so that's like, I never know how people are gonna react. And I do remember you being like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
Let's figure it out. Let's just do it." And then
Yeah.
that was exciting for me because I did feel like I saw some of your older videos, what you had done. I'd seen what you were doing on Instagram. I'm like, to
Yeah.
me, this is exciting because it opens up a whole nother world, but also staying super, super, super mindful of your monetization strategy, right? And
Yeah.
at that time, it was getting people into your membership. But I
Yeah.
do remember you saying, well, at this point, nobody's coming to my membership anyways. So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had like,
Because I wasn't getting views. So it was
mhm.
like, it just was not working.
Yeah, and I'm like, "Are you willing to do things that aren't just fitness related?" And I remember that's how you did the Mob Wives one, and it didn't do great. I'm like, "Don't
Yeah.
worry, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna find a groove." And
But
then
that
I'm
was
like,
smart because you were like, you were like, I know you really want to do it and that's
"Yes,
fine.
yes." And you're like, "I want to do Mob Wives," and I in my head, I'm like, "That's not what I would start with." But I'm like, "Do your thing because you need to get it out of your system, and
It
I want
was
you to be
hilarious.
excited about it." Like, there's like a there's a lot of times for me, I'm sure you've learned this by now, there's very much like a method to my madness. And so then for you on your end, you went through the program, you did the discovery process. You're like, "Oh, wow, I was getting like," I guess I'm curious too, like you said that that discovery process was really helpful. Um, I'm wondering if compared to the other program you're a part of, was there still a level of that discovery there?
To a lesser degree, but
Mhm.
yes,
Mhm.
which I think, especially at a certain point in business, right? Like I've had my own business on some level, some degree. Like I've been on my own since 2008. So that's a long
Mhm.
time, right? Different iterations, of course, like some brick and mortar, some, but that's a long time. And so, but I always am very conscientious about keeping like a beginner's mindset. You know what I mean? Of like just being open to the coaching, to the feedback, because it's real easy, especially when you're doing your own thing and you're used to running the show, being like, no, no, I know this already. And that's the worst thing you can do. So yes, there was a degree of that, but with yours, I was so done. I was so like over having flat line, like not seeing results that I was like, I am clean slate and I'm going to sit here with my journal and I'm going to write this stuff out and I'm going to do the research, even days where I was just like, oh, this takes forever. It was intense, but it was
Yeah.
really useful. And it was
Yeah.
useful to go through that, to like kind of grind through it too.
So then at what point did you feel like, "Oh, this pivot, it's working?"
I mean, definitely that makeup video, I was like, whoa. And then that was the video where
I'm gonna show
I
everybody too.
I was seeing AdSense numbers I had never seen before in my
Mhm.
life. Like,
Mhm.
I had been on YouTube forever, and sure, there's AdSense, but I mean, that was never my goal, and I
Yeah.
also think just as a business person, it's a great idea to not have that be your only monetization
Mhm.
strategy because things can
That's it.
change quickly, and you don't own that?
Mhm.
And so, but it was also very exciting to be like, oh, damn, this is real money,
Mhm.
really exciting, to see like, wow, you know, that's so funny. I feel like I even look different in that video.
Well, that was what, a year ago?
March.
March. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that was very exciting. And then what started happening quickly after that was like brand deals started coming back in. Where, years before when I first started on YouTube and I was getting some traction, I was doing some brand deals and I had a manager at the time. And being a mom, I have a small child. My daughter's now 6, but so at the time I had like a 4-year-old. I'm like, it was like a lot. And so I basically pulled my old manager who was not managing anymore. I was like, gave her no choice. I was just like, hey, by the way, like, I think I'm going to start getting really busy again. Like, please work with me. Like, tell me what you need. And she was just like, all right, let's do it. And it's wild. I mean, how much my business has changed is the understatement of the year. Like insane. One of the things that I'm actually most proud of and grateful actually to you also is like, I had my fitness membership. So I was using YouTube as like the megaphone, that was my marketing strategy was YouTube. You meet me, you go down the rabbit hole, and then you join my membership at some point, which is awesome. We love that when it's working. Right. And then like we started working together, and it was like for the first time in a decade, I was like actually making money, like real bankable money from AdSense. Just okay, that's crazy. Then brand deals, coming in, I could see the writing on the wall. I was like, oh, damn. And I am, admittedly, like, I don't really do outbound. Like we were just chatting. Like I've never really been that person. So I'm just lucky enough that like it's always been inbound for me. But I was like, oh, the inbox is inboxing. So I was like, oh shit, I need
Yeah.
help. Like I cannot do this. I negotiated like one deal
Like,
poorly.
never
And then I
again.
was like, no, like
Yes.
this is not it.
Yes.
And then affiliate stuff too. So now it's such a beautiful feeling to just know that there's so many different facets. So you're not relying on one thing only, to make your revenue, which is incredible, and that's not even to mention like things like I have a retreat coming up. And as much as that's like a pleasure project for me, it's like I forget like, oh, right. And I actually make money like doing that. Like
Yeah.
that's how much I enjoy it. But it's like,
Mhm.
it's nice. Like that's
Mhm.
great, So
Mhm.
like all of these things working together, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah. I mean, because prior to that, your main income stream was your
My
fitness
membership.
program.
Yeah,
Your
I have courses, so it would be like courses, my membership, or doing like small launches. So there was a lot of launching involved of like, and this was pre-AI days too. So that was a lot of work. Like I remember how many times I'd be in a coffee shop being like, oh my God, email number 1, email number 2. Like, and that's a lot of work and a lot of time.
Mhm. It's a lot
So
of time.
yeah.
So then effectively you hired me. We made some changes on your channel. Your channel went from, and we can kind of show
Oh,
people
it's
too.
crazy.
Yeah, it
I mean,
went
it
from
is marked.
if you look, you can actually see
It's like,
exactly
oh,
the time.
yeah.
Well, even here, it's like we look at the videos themselves, right? So
Mhm.
these are the most recent videos. These are videos
Yeah.
no, these are latest, right?
Yeah.
So we go here. This is what we would do. But I could see where
Yeah.
you and I started working
Oh, yeah.
together.
It is very apparent.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see that progression.
Mhm.
But okay, you
Oh,
see
free
here.
Erica.
Yes. So this is where you're working with that other coach. It's just like lean into the workouts, just do
Yes.
more workouts. And that's what,
Yeah.
and I remember your videos were a little bit on the shorter side because you're like, well, I don't want them to do them too long because then
Right.
they're not going to want to get into my program. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
Tracy, they're not getting into your program anyways.
Right.
So
I
what does
know.
it matter?
Uh,
And then you could see here, you actually did an announcement.
yes.
Big changes I'm making in 2024. That's right. We talked about that
Yeah.
video. Remember the mob wife one? This one too. I remember this one did really
Oh,
well
but
too.
this is crazy. This one I got picked up, was this the
That's
one
right.
from the Daily Mail?
Mhm.
So this was, I mean, things happen. Like Erica, I'm telling you, you want a magic trick? I'll give you a magic trick. Erika Vieira, because we started working together and like, okay, I was nervous to do the announcement video. This is so funny. I haven't thought about this. Like I was very nervous. Like, how am I going to do this? Like, this is going to, like, I didn't even know I didn't know if it was going to work, but it's that like, do it before you're ready. Like, all
Mhm.
right, like this is what we're doing. So like, just speak it into existence. I did mob wives. It was a trend. Don't judge. It was
Yeah.
a trend at the time.
Yes.
I thought it was cute. I'm Italian. I was like, I love it. I love a fur. I live
Yeah.
in Miami. It makes no sense, but whatever. But then, leaning into sort of the like aging, whatever, I started getting media reaching out to me, being like, hey, we saw this. So then I was like featured in the Daily Mail, which is huge. It's the
Mhm.
biggest publication in the world,
Uh-huh.
like what? Like crazy.
And that was really cool. I remember you're like, "Oh my god, look at this." But
I
what's
thought it
so
was a scam.
yes, I know. You're like, "Is this real?" Like, "Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
true."
sent it to my friend who teaches like PR and publicity, and I was like, "Is this real?" She was like, "Yes." Respond immediately. I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay."
What's interesting about that though is those opportunities are amazing. And then like YouTube can bring you opportunities like that, but that doesn't grow your YouTube channel though,
No.
you know? So it's like, even though
No.
that happened, I remember you're like, oh my God, am I going to get so many? I remember you said this, am I going to get, I was like, you probably won't, just to
No.
like let you know.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
cool to put on your
It's great for your
resume, on your
resume.
website,
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
know, but that you're not going to get people coming
Mm-mm.
over, and you didn't. Like all of
No.
this growth had nothing to do
No.
with that.
No.
So, but that was a really cool, I remember that was a really cool thing. I
Yeah.
think, did that help your Instagram at all or not really either?
I don't think so. I mean,
No.
maybe a
Yeah.
little bit, but I think, what really helps the most, I think, if someone like that has a bigger audience than you, like, share, it's funny, like Kathy Hilton
Mhm.
follows me, just
Oh,
saying,
oh, oh.
and, I saw like a reel that I made that was actually featuring
You need
somebody.
to go to BravoCon so you can meet her.
I know. I'm
Yeah.
manifesting.
Yes,
But
yes.
like I saw like, oh, this reel that I talked about her candle because she shared it. And I was like, that's
Mm,
gotta be why that reel performed. I knew that reel probably wasn't gonna be like a huge hit with
yeah,
my audience, but I just wanted to make it just to, I like it like as a
yeah,
product I bought with my own money and I liked
yeah,
it. And, but prior to this, she was already following me. Let's, make
yeah,
that clear. Like,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
so so that's where I have seen like little pops, like Candy Johnson,
Mm,
talked about me in one of her vlogs, and it's literally like boop, a spike.
yeah,
This is when I was only doing fitness,
yeah,
so
yeah,
that
yeah.
does help. But like, traditional media, not really.
So then, okay, I guess then the next question is, so you've effectively, you went from using YouTube as a lead gen to your fitness programs,
Yeah.
and then you hired me. You're like, I need to do something. We're like, well,
Hmm.
it's still the same business model. We're going to
Yeah.
use YouTube as a lead gen to your
Correct.
fitness programs. And so, did you get more people into your fitness programs?
Yes, it's interesting because I remember, in that makeup one, so that
Just a
was
year.
a year ago, yep.
Hmm.
Then I started seeing like, whoa, a lot of people coming in.
Hmm.
So that was exciting. But what I really think, at least this is my opinion right now, and I'm not saying this is the truth, but this is my experience, is like fitness Fitness is tricky, I think. I really do think it's a tricky business model because at the end of the day, no one, unless you're a person like me that loves moving. I've been a dancer my whole life. I love being active. Most people don't really want to do it. And I've learned this, over the like last 10 years of doing this, and I've been a trainer.
15 years.
Yeah. I mean, no, I've been like a trainer since 1999,
Yeah, yeah.
but people really don't like doing it. But what I've realized, even when I was training in person, is people do it because they like you.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'll spend an hour with you. When I was a Pilates instructor or like working at the gym, blah, blah, blah. So it's been interesting. And that has been a slower mindset shift for me of like, it's okay if you're seeing this much growth on YouTube and like, wow, like, hundreds of thousands of new subscriber, which is fact, since working with you. And, maybe you're not going to see hundreds of thousands of new members in there, but it's all the same. Like the business model now, I don't segment it of like fitness membership, me, content creator. And I think that actually when we first started working together and things picked up fast, I mean, it was like I felt like I was like, what? And I didn't have all my systems and teams set up. And I was like, it was I mean, was feeling like, okay, like breathe through. Like, thank God I'm now 51, but at the time, like, 50 years old, I was like, okay, like
I can do this.
we can do this. But I think
Yeah,
if I was like 30, it might have felt different,
yeah, yeah.
But it really now, I think just being able to be like, it's all me and it's all sort of united, it makes it easier. And it also makes it easier to just be more grateful. Like it's all working. Like it's all working, which is how great is that? So
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think, because you had how many subscribers? Do you remember when you
I
signed
had
on with
over
me?
100,000. I don't remember exactly, maybe like 120.
Yeah, I think you had maybe a little bit more than that. I think you had under 200, but
Way
it was,
under though, I think.
yeah. So it was might have been like, yeah, sometime maybe around 150.
Hmm.
And it's crazy to think that now you're at 377,000 subscribers. So it took you what, like 13 years to get to 150K.
Yeah.
And then since working together,
Yeah.
you grew another
Basically
200,000?
doubled it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's wild. And, just like all the things that I'm doing, it's totally different. It's like, I mean, it's incredible. Like it's amazing. Like, thank goodness I listened to my intuition and not my fear. Which
Mhm.
I'm sure a lot of people, when it comes to like making it, I have friends that are successful,
Mhm.
and I'm like, you have to invest in your business. You have to. Like, I'd rather invest in my business and buy another bag. I'll buy the bag too. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's really important,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
to not, because then you just flatline. You can't, the industry is constantly changing. That's for sure. I mean, we see
Mhm.
that all the time, like seasonality,
You're on YouTube.
what we
Yeah.
have to do, what's working, what's not. But it's pretty, I mean, it's amazing how fast things, really, really changed and picked up for me. And I was like, wow, this is, and at the time, like I said, I thought like, wow, I created a whole other business. But now I'm like, no, 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 no. Same business, just putting it all together. And that, for some reason, that thought process helps me to not feel overwhelmed, because I think it's a lot harder if you think like I'm running 4 different businesses. That's very
It's
difficult,
true.
you
Yeah.
know, where
Yeah.
it's like, it's all me. It's me talk. I'm just sharing the things I love.
Yeah.
It's my
Yeah.
job.
It's
you
all
know?
it is all you. So then
Yeah.
I'm sure when you hired me, you weren't thinking that we'd still be talking on a
No, I
daily
thought I was
basis.
hiring you for 3 months.
Yeah. So then
Uh,
what happened with that and going from like, I'm gonna hire this coach to kind of get me out of my rut to like now being a member
I'll
of
tell you
your team?
exactly what. I
Okay.
remember hired you for your first 3-month package private, and I was like,
Mhm.
"Okay." And I was like, "That's an investment." Like,
Mhm.
"Okay."
Mhm.
And so then I remember by the end of the 3 months, it was like, this had happened, this had happened, this had happened, these brand deals, and I was like my AdSense alone had paid, like
Yeah.
more than paid for like that first 3 months. And my AdSense before was like maybe a utility bill. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it wasn't and I live in New York and Miami, so we're not talking cheap ones, but like
Sure.
still,
Utility
you
bills can still be high, but yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah.
it wasn't like a Chanel purse.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, like wow, like that is, a very different experience," and that was
Mhm.
just AdSense, which was
Mhm.
one leg
Mhm.
of business. So I was like, "All right, let's keep going." Plus, the biggest thing for me, again, talking about like investing in the business, is like I know that I need help. There's only so many hours in a day. It's
Mhm.
very, it's a lot. I mean, I love how people think like YouTube is like so, it's so not.
Yeah.
There's so many moving parts. You have to work like an animal,
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
have friends that certainly think I work way too much,
Yeah.
but I love what I do so much. And I love it. To me, it's art. It's like, even if I'm talking about something sciencey, fitness, makeup, to me it's like I'm still creating something that's art. It's like my
Mhm.
expression, and so
Mhm.
that's what makes it fun, right?
Yeah.
Even when it's not fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. So then, okay, now this is interesting and because I want to hear how you progressed your business side of things because you did say that, and I actually don't know the answer to this either, is when you brought me on board, it was kind of to jumpstart your YouTube channel and then to get things going again. But then you said things came so fast that you're like, you didn't really have the systems in place to actually accommodate the growth that happened.
mm-mm.
So what the changes did you make in your business to be able to now accommodate this growth?
That's a great question. So one of the first things you told me, because I was always doing one video a week, and you said, I really think you need to do two. And I was like,
Yeah, I remember.
and that was tough. That was like, I was like, okay, I bought the ticket. I'm going to take the ride. That was
Mhm.
tough. But in doing so, we weren't set up, to have that. So, my editor wasn't used to that. I'd had an editor for a long time. And then there's someone that helps me with my editing that I'd hired before having the baby, but I needed to kind of restructure their agreements with me. Um, I, just time scheduling, like I would sort of shoot when I felt like it or when, whatever. And it was like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I have to take it really seriously. And there was a point when we first started working together where I felt like I was taking myself away from my business. Like, again, where then it took me far too long to realize this is your business. This is you working. You're not like in your room talking to yourself. Like you're literally working, you know? And once I had that, you know, but the main thing was like making sure my editor had the time and space in his calendar, making sure that my girl that helps him does. Then of course, as they, you know, make my manager, I brought her back on. And then as things picked up, just seeing the gaps and filling them. Like, okay, you know, I am buried in, you know, X, Y, or Z, or what admin things am I doing? Because what I realized at the end of the day, the one thing no one else can do is just be me on camera. So my ultimate goal, I'm still not there. I mean, but I'm close, you know, is to like just shoot content and be like, here you go. You know what I mean? Like I still do my short form. At some point I won't, you know, like do the editing of that. That's fairly simple and I actually enjoy it. But you know, it I really realized like, okay, what are the gaps in my time? What is taking my time and my energy away from my business and really treating this like a business? So I have a shoot day, Wednesday. My even people that work with me know Wednesdays are shoot days. So you can call, you can ask me questions, you can Voxer me, blah, blah, blah. But like, I'm not going to answer you until I'm done, you know, and getting myself on a schedule was really, really important. And then just seeing like what my gaps are, which I think, you know, like I'm just not good at thumbnails. Like that is where like, I just like my brain just can't think of like what's you know what I mean? So there was like there were times when I was like, okay, Erica, you're on because like I can't do this, you know,
Yeah.
and it's not worth my time.
Yeah.
It is worth it for me to pay to
Yeah.
have you say, do this thumbnail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And if people knew, I mean, the iterations, we sometimes will go back and forth like 12 different variations for one thumbnail.
Well, now that there's like 3 options for a thumbnail
Oh, I
too.
know. Which
So
that we love
yeah,
that. I mean,
we
that
like that, but
yeah,
it's more time and more
it is
process
more
for a
time.
video, you
Yep.
know? So what does it look like then having me kind of member of your team? Like, how do you
Mhm.
use me to basically, you know, in your mind, you're like, okay, I have Erica to do XYZ
Yeah.
and it helps me because of this.
Oh my gosh. So the biggest thing, you know, brainstorming concepts because I
Mm-hmm.
am fortunate enough that pretty much almost every video that I do now is sponsored and has
Mm-hmm.
been for, you know, again, things could change, but like God willing,
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, we're lucky that we have a lot of repeat brand partners. More than 80% are just like,
Yes.
okay, booking us again. So obviously what we're doing, they like working with us. Like, and we're a team. And I think that that's like, we don't treat this as like a little hobby. You're not dealing with
Mm-hmm.
like a little, you know, you're not dealing with like 30-year-old me that's like, oh, I did my hair today. Let me turn on the camera. It's like, this is my job, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so for you, it's really like, okay, I will tell you, like, okay, here are the brands that I'm working with this month. Let's come up with some concepts, some ideas, which you and I both have like sheets of, you know,
Tons of
ideas
ideas.
constantly
Mm-hmm.
going. Um, and then that way it's like, can we weave, you know, this brand into that concept or not? You know,
Mm-hmm.
can it just be like, you know, I know everyone listening to this is like a creator, but like, you know, other people forget, like, hey, you know, that TV show you're watching, you know, that podcast you're listening to, they're sponsors. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't mean we don't believe in this stuff,
Yeah.
but it's also what helps me to not work in a grocery store. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Mhm.
So I
It
think
helps
that
you to create the content though.
a
Like you have a
hundred percent,
team, you need a
yeah.
people, like even just like the products you test and all the things you buy to support what you're doing.
100%, 100%.
Mhm.
So it's you're incredibly helpful with the concepts for me. That's like what I think of like, and sometimes I just get so busy and you know this. I'll be like, I don't have time to think. Like
Yeah.
I there's so much going on that I'm like, you know, there have been months where I'm like, I don't even have one idea. So
Yeah.
have fun. This
Yeah.
is what I've got.
I'm like, here's your content calendar for the month, Tracy.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
those are usually, like, my daughter's out of school, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, she's not in school, so I'm, like, momming, and I just haven't had time. You know, you need space, you need to be able to take a walk, like, you get your
Mhm.
ideas when you have a day at the beach or when you're
Yeah.
taking a walk, right? And sometimes that doesn't happen, right? We're
Mhm.
both moms. Thumbnails, for sure. I mean, the amount of ti when I think of time, because time is the resource you'll never get back,
Mhm.
I will pay to have you be like, just, you know, because it's like second nature for you to be like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, this
It
thumbnail,
is.
this is what's working. Do this, you know? And I'm like,
Mhm.
okay,
Yeah.
you know? But also, you know, I think working with you privately, it's so great. I know I have access to you. You are
Mhm.
incredibly responsive, which
Mhm.
is lovely. And even sometimes if I'm having a hard moment, if, everything is like this, social media
Yeah.
is always up and down, right? And so sometimes it's like maybe things aren't going the way that you want them to. That is all part of it. I've been doing this long
Mhm.
enough to know like there are ups, there are downs. There are times when everything's like amazing and other times
Yeah.
where you're like, nothing's working,
Yeah. Or they
and
spent so much time on that video and it's 10 out of
totally.
10.
I totally, right?
Yeah.
And I'll be just be like, photo,
You always
woof,
send me the photos. You're like 10 out of 10.
woof.
I'm like, oh no. I was like, that's okay. Let's switch the thumbnail. Let's do
Yeah,
this.
totally. So I think that's also just, again, just having someone like I don't have a therapist, but I do have Erica. I have Erica to like, run
Good.
things by. She's
Mhm.
in it. Like you are a team member. And that's how
Mhm.
I think of you. It's like, you know
Mhm.
what? Like if the brand deals weren't coming in, the income wasn't coming in, then you weigh. But it's like, why would I not work with you when financially it makes sense
Yeah.
and it also is saving me time, which
Mhm.
I'll never get back,
Yeah. Yeah. It's
So,
funny because like when I started this type of like this part of the business, because I started off doing like my group coaching and all that,
yeah.
but it was funny because it was actually from an interview where I interviewed somebody and
Mhm.
she was a successful YouTuber and she's like, I don't want to do your boot camp. Like, can I just have you? And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, well, let me just figure out how this is going to work. She's like, I want you like long term though. This was like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
back in 2021. I'm like, okay, well, let me figure out how to do that. And then she was the first one. And then I had more people doing it and she referred me. And then it was one of those situations where it's like, I personally, from like like an enjoyment
Yeah.
and fulfillment, I really enjoy working with people long term, like the
Yeah.
relationship we have, because
Yeah.
I feel like even though obviously I'm on your team, like we have a close relationship, like,
Mhm.
we're like friends, we
Yeah.
talk about things, like I know things personally, but all that to say, it all helps with your YouTube content. Because
100%.
YouTube is so engrossed with like who you are
Yeah.
that like, and I always say this, the more I get to know people, and even
Mhm.
people in my group coaching program, I'm like,
Yeah.
show up to the calls. Just ask me a question. The more I
Yeah.
know you, the better I can help you because
For
it's like,
sure.
and I had another client just tell me this the other day. She's like, I feel like what you're doing is you're taking my insights, we're plopping them on a table and we're saying, here's what we're going to do with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Hmm.
100%. I mean, it's so true. I'll tell you, like, in all honesty, like, I remember being like, wow, like, you care. Do you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like,
I
you
do.
care.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
invested. Like, it's not BS. Like, it
Hmm.
really, I mean, we've been to, and I've worked with a lot of coaches,
Hmm.
and I used to coach people myself too. And, quite honestly, like, I loved it when I was doing it, but then when it stopped being something that I really enjoyed, I stopped doing it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because it's like, you have to really be in it and you can feel that you are
Hmm.
like, I never, even if I text you on a weekend, I'm like, no need to respond. Like you generally will within a day.
Hmm.
You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And it's like, you
Hmm.
don't have to do that
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
all,
Yeah.
but it's like, I know that like when you're celebrating with me, but at the same time, you're problem solving,
Hmm.
like when things sometimes aren't hitting the way that we want them to. And it's just incredible to like know that like you're invested,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I am. I love it. I love doing what I do. And like you said, I think if it got to the point where I didn't, it would be hard doing what I'm doing because it is
Yeah,
like it's like you
it's
get
a lot.
really invested in people's
Yeah.
success and you're there, the wins, the losses. But
I used to do private coaching and I
mhm,
loved it. And I had
mhm,
um, like a really successful program, which, like was successful in all the ways. Like people
mhm,
loved it. I loved it. I made a lot of money doing it. And when I was pregnant with my daughter, I was like, I'm
done.
done. Cause I
Yeah,
just was like, I can't carry
emotional.
50 women. Yeah.
Hmm.
And I'm glad that I did that because I was like, I don't want to let people down.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Well, that's why
not,
I only have certain number of people I work with because
yeah,
I just can't. Like
of
I
course.
have like a. That's why I do have
Can
a
you
waiting
imagine like
list. I'm like,
40 me's.
yeah. Oh God, I can't. Oh God.
But I do refer you to like literally everyone.
Yeah. No, and that's great. And some people they'll join my boot camp. That's why my boot
Yeah,
camp is great too. Because
yeah,
like as much as I wish I could help like with
yeah,
you, like so many people, I just
yeah.
can't,
No, of
And not
course.
everybody's willing to invest in that capacity,
Yeah,
but I think they'll get part of me in the
yeah,
boot camp
which is
also.
great. Like I
Yeah.
said, that was that. I mean, I went through it, and then it's good. It's great.
Yeah. And I like that you did. I have some people, actually almost everybody, I have not really had a problem. I had one person and she was like you in that She's very successful in her niche,
Mhm.
very good at what she did, and like was hiring me to launch her YouTube, which we did very
Mhm.
successfully. And
Yeah.
actually she's making more money from YouTube than her other
I'm like,
things. But
wow.
I do remember when I told her, like, you need to go through this, like this part. I saw her, she was like, okay, I'll do it. And I remember she was like not wanting to do it. And she's like,
Yeah.
I do this stuff all the time in business and da da da.
Mhm.
I was like, just trust me. And then
Yeah.
she did come around later on, but
Yeah.
it's nice when you're like, no, I got it. I'll do
Yeah.
it. I'll do it. And so, I think what's really your story that I think is so cool, and we've talked about a little bit, is like the fact that your business model has really changed. So you went from using YouTube as a lead gen for your fitness programs to now having a business model, like you said, like the business is you. But can you break it down as far as percentage wise, like where you're at now versus before? Like what percentage of your total income comes from brand deals and affiliates and AdSense versus like your programs and courses? Like how is that now compared to before?
It is crazy because last year, I remember meeting with my bookkeeper and she was like, wow, like your social media, like it's really like picking up. And I think last year it was like 50-50.
Mm,
But I knew this year was going to be like a banner year. And it has been, you know what I mean? Because basically, the entire calendar year, we've had, with the exception of, I don't know, maybe 8 videos like the entire year. So we're talking 2 videos a week, basically sponsored. Like it's pretty rare to have a non-sponsored video. And so percentage wise now, my fitness membership, which is still thriving and doing really, really well, but the content creation piece of it, like if you put all the pieces, so I'm talking AdSense, brand deals and affiliate income, it has surpassed my business of just being fitness membership and courses and all of that, which is incredible, like. And I remember at first like, ooh, is this okay, da, da, da. But it's like it's amazing because now, like, from working with you, I created like 4 or 5 different, like, revenue streams, which is amazing. I should know this off the top of my head. I remember that my brand deals is probably the highest um percentage, and then going to possibly AdSense, but also affiliate. I mean, affiliate, that's my favorite. Let's talk about that for a second. Okay. Because YouTube is the gift that keeps giving, right? And it's not like Instagram where, it's like hot for a second and then gone. And I see that. I mean, and I do well on Instagram, with affiliate stuff. I actually do, quite well. But it's really amazing because nothing makes me happier than seeing like my affiliate income is like a salary. You know what I mean? Would have been like, Pilates instructor me would have been like, oh, damn. And that's one piece of it, which is amazing. And it's pretty much like passive. Like you shoot the video, you talk about things I mean, it's not ever going to work for anyone unless you actually use it, you actually enjoy it, you actually can speak about it passionately. And I'm constant. I mean, if you saw the other side of my dresser, it's covered in products right now. You know, yeah, like it's wild, boxes, PR stuff. And like, I tell brands, please don't give me anything, please. It gives me agita. But it's pretty amazing and I'm small fry. I know that you have other clients that are like, psh, like it's their whole business model
hmm
is like
hmm
affiliate stuff. So it's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Um, and what I love about YouTube the most is that like there's no shortage of ways to, really create, I mean, a successful business, like it's I love YouTube so much. I always have, but I just think like, of course, when it's working, it's way more fun. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
That's
'Cause
true. That's
yeah,
true.
it's like,
Yeah.
okay, like I'm building a community. That's awesome. I love that. I love that, like, I'm getting opportunities. And now it's funny because next year my goals are so different. You know, I'm like, all right, next, like it is time to like go to the next level, you know, because I've been sort of here, which is great. But now I'm like, okay, I want to be doing like brand experiences. I want to be really like some of these brands I've worked with like 10 times. Okay, cool. Let's do an event together. Let's, you know, like let's really, so I'm very, very excited for that, you
That's
know,
cool.
but from a financial perspective, it's nuts. It's
Yeah.
nuts because, you know, had I quit, I don't know, who knows? I don't know,
Yeah.
you know? So
Yeah.
it's pretty amazing, you know, and I can't, I'm excited to do my taxes at the end of the year, you
Yeah.
know, to really see, because I love that. I'm a data person. I love seeing like what's working, and it's fascinating, you know, to really see like, wow, okay, like, you know, and you know, and even like, you know, I touched on this a little bit, like I'm so grateful for the brands that I work with, but also like even more so that I work with a lot of like, I've been working with several of them for like a year and a half, you know, and it's like, you know, 10 partnerships, 15 partnerships, like it's amazing, you know. And you don't want to overdo it either, in the
Yeah.
sense of your audience can get tired, you know, of you talking about certain things like a million times, but at the same time it's like, well, I don't know. I love Manolos. There's like a ton of them behind me. You know what I mean? Like, like that's my favorite shoe.
If they
Like,
kept calling, you'd be like, yeah.
yeah, Manolo. I'm taking partnerships.
I mean, because though I have to say, like the stuff that you talk about though is actually it's like stuff that you actually
We use it every day.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
what's
it's pretty
better than
great.
that?
Yeah.
And you know what's so funny is I always think back of when I was a Pilates instructor and YouTube like didn't even exist. I was that girl. I was 100% that girl that would show up to the studio and be like, "Oh my God, you guys!" I remember being like, "Chia water. Have you ever heard of it?" Like,
Yeah.
and all my clients would, you know what I mean? It was like
Yeah.
that's just my personality. Like, if I like something, I'm going to talk to you about it. You know? So
Yeah. So you say you kind of, you know, you're looking at your numbers with your bookkeeper without revealing any like specific numbers, but like since hiring me, which was like, you know, a year and a half ago,
yeah.
would you say like your overall income has like what would you
Oh
say?
my God! Like I would say it's probably like the end of this year, it'll probably be triple.
Yeah.
You know, like that's crazy. I mean, you can just see, even if you only focus on AdSense, it was like working with Erika. You know what I mean? Like truly, like sometimes I'll do that, especially when I get like, if you're feeling like, oh, I'm in a slump, things aren't working. It's like, well, they're working, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, the other thing is you are very focused, you know, on making sure that this is like an income generating activity, you know, like career for you. And so even when I have like an idea or, you know, can we talk about shorts?
Yeah, we can talk about everything.
Like I've been, you know, kind of toying with like, well, I do really well on Instagram, you know, with kind of these certain kinds of videos where I'm just talking about products that I like or whatever. And those tend to be the like real like banger reels for me. And I was like, well, I want to start putting them on YouTube. And you were very like, I don't know, you know, because like, what's the point of doing it, you
Not for
know? And I
making
love
money.
that. Yeah, I love that because you're just like, look, you're already doing it. So like, you might as well do it. Like, and it's working in the sense of, but now, of course, as you know, I'm kind of hitting
Yeah.
hitting
Well,
a
and we look at the that's where I come in and look at the numbers. You
Yeah.
know, it's like every week I'm looking at your analytics. I'm like, okay, well, let's look at it. Let's look at the short.
Yeah.
And then you tell me, like, I can't
Yeah.
see I'm like, well, how much are you making? How much did you make from this one? How much did you make
Yeah.
from this? How did you do from this? Right.
Yeah.
And so it's like, if it's, you know, if you're
Well,
making
you know,
these,
wait, one thing that's so funny actually to like, do you remember when I got my first like real like Amazon money? Do you
yes,
remember I thought I was scammed?
yeah. Oh no, you thought it was like the gift cards, right? Like you're like,
Yeah,
they only
because
pay
I was
gift
getting
cards?
paid with gift cards. So I was like
was like
literally
crazy.
getting like thousands of dollars
know.
of like gift card, like, which is great. Like, okay, you're gonna, but at the same time, I was like, well, if this is gonna be every month, I guess I should start. I didn't know how to read analytics.
I remember you
then,
said, you're like, I think you told me, you're like, okay, so this Amazon thing, but it wasn't just, it was like a couple, I don't know. At
Yeah.
some point, and I realized like, Tracy,
Yeah, you were like,
you're like, hey, this Amazon thing is really cool. Cause I knew you were telling me, oh my gosh, I made this one.
Yeah.
And then you're like, but the thing what is so weird is that like, it's like, yeah, what am I doing with all these gift cards? I'm like, what are you talking about? You're like, well, Amazon only pays in gift cards. I'm like, Tracy, no.
I mean, I didn't know. I was like,
other than that,
God. Like before that, it was like $150.
Yeah.
Like, you
Yeah.
know, like, it's great. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I was like, oh.
I was like,
Oh,
you need to go in there and change
yeah.
that. And you're
Oh
like,
my God.
oh, and you're like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this Amazon thing because I don't need this many Amazon gift cards.
Can you imagine? It's crazy.
I was
And
like,
now it's like Amazon is like, I mean, it's a huge, huge income stream.
yeah.
But again, it's not because, you know, I don't find massive joy in doing like, here's 5 things, but you know what? People really like that. And, you know, here's the other thing. It's like, as a creator, okay, that might not be the most creatively fulfilling thing, but here's
Yeah.
the thing. If I think of my audience, my true fan, what is my goal? To make her feel beautiful, to make her feel seen, but most, you know, importantly, it's also to make her life easier. And if I'm going to test and try things and I'm going to only share with you like what's really good, and that's just me. That's the same thing as me in the Pilates studio being like, oh my God, you guys, chia
Yeah.
water. Like, you got to try it. I wasn't making money doing
I mean,
that.
you're the reason, like, and it's funny for a lot of my clients, it's like, I'm kind of their avatar because I love all those things too, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're the reason I do gua sha. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
how many gua shas have you sold?
Oh my God. Tons.
Like,
it's
how,
insane. It's
do you even
insane.
know? Like, it's like, I don't
Like
know.
hundreds and hundreds.
Yeah.
Like purple eyeliner.
Oh,
That
yeah.
company, I mean, I've sold so, I mean, I'm wearing it right now.
Okay.
Purple eyeliner essence.
Your
It's like,
Milani lip liner.
Milani lipstick. Like,
Lipstick or
Milani, I'm
whatever.
ready.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, where's the Milani event?
You
That's
talked about Milani.
2006, you know, 26. Like that's where we're going is like,
Yeah.
all right, like, you know, we're like killing it for
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I really love this stuff.
And you do, you actually do. And like, I think that's like, as I said, like, you're the one, you've inspired me to do, you know, to do gua sha and to do all these different things,
Yeah.
the rebounding and all those kind
Yeah.
of things. It's like you know, you are genuinely who you are and
Yeah.
you actually do these things
Yes.
and it works, right? And that going back to the Amazon thing, it's like, right, it's like, okay, well, maybe, you know, talking about hauls or products, but I know we always work really hard in rooting every product into like a why and like you
Yes.
doing it and like
Yeah.
instruction and showing how to do it and
Yeah.
not just like, here's this, here's this, here's this, here's
Yeah.
this. And
Because
you
that's
know,
kind of boring, you know.
yeah.
But like, listen, QVC, she's ready. Lisa Rinna, you know, I'm a housewife girl.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love Lisa Rinna, and I'm like, let's
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah.
I just feel like next year, I don't know why, I just have a sense
Mm-hmm.
that next year is going to be a very, I think it's also just an exciting time in like content creation too, because you know, having like a really strong YouTube community, having YouTube and then also being able to take that and take it offline too is powerful. And that's what brands are really wanting now.
They
you
need
know?
that. They want that community. And I sent you like that article I sent you with
Yeah.
like the social selling, thing,
selling,
right?
yeah.
The live selling. I mean, that's the future is,
Mhm.
I mean, it's so interesting because it's actually always been here in the sense
Yeah.
of QVC and HSN,
Yeah.
this idea of like having a host and talking and like people like sitting. I mean, back in the day, people would sit down with a
And
a
watch
tea and a cup of coffee and watch QVC.
Yeah. Totally.
You know, like they would do that.
Yeah.
And it's literally, we've trained a whole nother generation and people to do that now.
Yeah.
COVID accelerated that, but like
Yeah.
having a platform and building a community is the number one thing that brands cannot do without having a personality attached. So like the
Yeah.
brands that have a human being attached to it,
Yeah.
like they're able to create that kind of connection. But that's why the brands utilize people like you is because it bringing the humanity to those products.
Well, it's also an interesting thing too, because everyone's so like, you know, questioning AI. And I'm like, guys, I think you're really like, you can see when it's an AI video. You can, I mean, sure, I'm sure at
Now.
some point now,
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But at the
Yeah.
end of the day, it's like, you know, the AI robot's not going to have an event. The
Yeah.
AI,
Yeah.
you know, like I don't think it's, I don't think, and I could be wrong, but I don't think it's much of a concern at all.
Your niche. Like it's
Yeah.
funny because this is something I've been studying a lot, working and talking to a lot of people, a lot of conferences, things like that. And I think there are certain niches that are going to be really immune to the AI. I think there's niches that are, there's AI's creeping into everything, even
Everything. Yeah.
the niche of lifestyle. But like, if there's one niche that people actually really want a human being, it's
Mhm.
you're like, who wants to listen to a robot talk about going through menopause?
No, I
Or
mean,
like getting rid of cellulite or how to
Yeah.
dye their grays. Like nobody wants
Nobody
this, even though
wants
they can pretend to do it and this and that.
Yeah.
which hopefully there's laws about disclaimers of like, this
Yes.
person's not real. That's the
Real,
only thing
yeah.
that can get really tricky if like
Yeah.
people think they're looking at a real person,
Yeah.
right? So hopefully the platforms start doing all that. But like,
Yeah.
I think all day long, people are going to want to connect to you, Tracy, the
Yes.
human that actually
Yes.
has gray hair and
Yes.
actually went through menopause and
Lots of
actually is
it.
50 years old.
Yeah, totally.
So
No, it's very true.
is there anything else that you would say to people that are like interested in YouTube and not sure, and or like, like even like people at the beginning stages, because you don't have to work with, I have people that hire me that are brand new to YouTube or like,
Yeah.
never been on. So like investing in themselves as a beginner, even starting on YouTube in general, any advice for people like that?
We every week, we fill out or every month when it's, time for us to have our meeting, like I fill out usually late my form,
Yeah.
for a call. And I'm like, don't you know everything already? But I take the coaching. I'm like, all right, that form.
Yeah.
But I think it's always, I always laugh because it's like, well, is there anything Erika told you to do that you didn't do? And I'm like, no. Like literally, like
Yeah.
there's like maybe 3 times where I was like, I don't want to, like today you asked me to do something. I was like, I'm not going to do that. I
Yeah.
just don't,
Yeah.
like, and it was a very, let's be clear. It was a very easy thing. It would
Yeah.
probably take me 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm not doing that.
You're like, I'm busy, and I'm like, that's fine. We'll figure out something else.
Yeah. But my point is like, I think if you're going to do it, again, number one, you should do it. Like the possibilities are endless. And I truly believe that like YouTube, there's so much short form content out there. There's so much like candy out there. And really at the end of the day, though, if you're, no matter what kind of business it is skincare, if it's a fashion business, if it's wellness, if it's like a real estate business, right? People do business and with people that they actually are like, I'm okay with spending an hour with you. Even think about like your hairdresser. Like if your hairdresser's an asshole, you're going to find another hairdresser, even if they give you the best hair ever, right? And so I think that like YouTube is just this golden egg where you have a global community. It's free. You know what I mean? Like it's free and you get this incredible access. And with you, like you are the secret friggin' sauce, like, I mean, YouTube inside and out, especially, like, what people want, what's working. And it's like, I wish I had known you like back in the like Tracy's green juice days. Because,
you were on YouTube. I wasn't even doing, I was still doing real like commercial real estate at that time.
But my point is like, if life was different, you were probably in like, high school. But my point is like, if you're going to make the investment, which 100% you should, I think it's really like, just be coachable, Like you don't know better. Listen to Erika. And I say it like jokingly, like I'm always like, I always do what Erika says, but it's true. Like, why am I going to invest and not trust you? You know what I mean? Like I trust you. I know that you know what you're doing, like there's no crystal ball, but like 9 times out of 10, I'm like, oh, you're right. I mean, we've had this like recently. Remember we had a video and I was like, oh, it's just not working. And you were like, try changing the title to this. Well, I don't even think I changed the thumbnail. I think you asked me to, and I only changed. So maybe sometimes I'm a little rebellious. So I was like, I think I was away. So I was like, I'm not changing I was like, let me change the title and just see to really do a split test. And that video was like one of our top performers, literally changing a title. I don't have the time or the bandwidth to like figure that out on my own. That's just dumb. Like if like if you want to be a smart business person, go with someone that knows this. Like you spend all day doing this. And it is not, it is like the understatement of the century of saying, you literally changed my life and my business. Like the opportunities that are in front of me, the things that, even like I was saying about for next year, it's like that wouldn't be possible if I hadn't, and I will continue to, of course, like, have this like YouTube foundation and it's like this global reach.
Yeah.
You can do anything. You can do anything. It's incredible.
What do you think about businesses that, because I have a feeling I know what you're going to say, because to me, I mean, I'm so biased though. It's like, I'm like, if you have a business and any business at all, small business, like it's a no brainer to me that you should have a YouTube channel. Like, what are your thoughts on like businesses, like online, like like you, and you have a lot of like friends
Yeah.
in the community. I know you refer people to me all the
Yeah.
time. Like you tell people what are your thoughts for like business owners that are thinking, I guess here's a question too. What are your thoughts on business owners that are thinking they want to do YouTube? And then what do you find that when you see people go onto YouTube like that, they're maybe not doing correctly, or that you see like, okay, like you're doing it, but not, maybe.
Well, I think that's a great question. I think, YouTube and just being on camera, it's you really, how can I say this? It's like you have to really, you got to do it and you got to suck. You got to be like, I was at an event, I don't know, a few months ago, and Emily DiDonato was speaking at it, and she was like, it's so fun to suck. And I was like, that's such a great attitude to have. Like, basically, like she was talking about like gardening and, like it's fun to be bad at something. And I think that like, especially a lot of people, what stops them is thinking, well, I'm not good on camera, or I do real estate, like people don't like, everyone is online now. And if you don't have a real business, if you don't have a social media footprint, but like, it's so much easier to purchase. Like, I want to know the story behind your business. I want to know, like, what am I, purchasing, using, you know what I mean? And so whether that be like, like a skincare brand having like influencers or content creators or whatever that are selling it, but it's like, it makes it that much easier for you to, there's just like anyone else, like you try things because you're like, oh, I keep hearing about that. Let me try that. You know what I mean? And so I think that, especially people with courses, like I had a friend I just referred to you who was like, oh, I'm very millennial. I love Instagram, but she's like, I really feel I need like a deeper dive. And I know her work. And I was like, absolutely you do, like 1000% you do, because it's the only medium out there where people can really just like binge watch you. I think it's fascinating right now. My channel, I'm sure this is kind of the trend. I don't think mine is like that unique, but maybe it is. Almost like 30% of people watch me on TV.
I know.
Do you watch YouTube on TV? I don't.
No, I don't.
I will tell you, after like recently I was watching some of my videos and I was like,
you're like, whoa.
I was like, this looks great on my like laptop.
He's like, oh, the big
I was like,
screen.
just bright, just lighting, that was the only thing. I was like, oh, it looks a little too bright, even recent videos, So it's interesting because I was like, well, maybe it's just the settings on my TV.
Oh my God. But don't you remember like when first my issue with your lighting? Do you remember that for the longest?
And then my sound. Erika, I mean, she's a dog with a bone. Making no, she's very cute, but she is a dog. It's like, I was like, I can't hear you complain about my audio anymore. Fine. So now when I do my videos, I have my DJI camera on, so I get that audio. Yeah. So now we have the, pretty camera, but then we have the audio.
Good audio. I know. I'm like, finally. Yes. I was like, I'm going to keep telling you. One day it'll stick.
Because I listen to my old videos and I'm like, are you in a cam?
Yeah. 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 And I could hear it because I watch YouTube all the time and I see everything. But it is interesting about
it's funny because even when I was up to, I remember I won, what did they call it? Like, I didn't win, but I was chosen to be like one of their next up creators in 2016.
On YouTube?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I still have the jacket. It's like, it's a cute little, like, I'll keep it so my daughter can, laugh at me at some point. But I remember doing that and I had gotten to over 100,000 subscribers on a camcorder.
Yeah.
Okay, this was not that long ago, right? 2016. And, my audio, I mean, it's like so cringe, but you just keep getting better and you just keep doing it. And,
but like, when you've got 250, 300,000 subscribers. And then it's like time. It's like Tracy.
Yeah. Well, Erika was like, you were like with thumbnails one time, you were like, I'm tired of seeing that bathing suit. Like, you're making money. Go order like 10 bathing suits from Amazon. I'm like,
we have all those Amazon gift
and I'm like, I just don't like a lot of stuff. You're like, I don't care.
I remember, it's like, you got all those freaking Amazon gift cards. Get some new swim sets.
Yeah. It's so funny.
Well, you take it well, though, and we're really close. I don't necessarily like, if someone's new, I'm not like, I feel like we're friends.
Of course. I mean, this is like,
I do remember saying that, like, I'm sick of that swimsuit.
You're like, no more of that bathing suit. Okay. Like, okay.
I'll order another one from Amazon. And you did. You're like, oh my gosh, I got all these new swimsuits. And I'm like,
Well, one day I was like, body makeup on.
Yeah,
Let's take
yeah.
8,000 pictures.
I know. And you're like, you'd be proud. I took a bunch of new photos with
Totally.
new swimsuits.
So
I'm like, well,
funny.
good.
Hilarious.
We can
Oh
use
my
them now.
God.
So
But those are like funny days when my husband will be like working and then he turns his head and I'm like in a bikini, completely tan. And the front,
yeah.
the front of my body is brown. The back of my body
The
is
back is like
white.
white. Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like, what's going? I'm like, just keep
Yeah.
working.
You're like,
Don't worry
I'm a
about me.
YouTuber. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. All right. Well, Tracy, this has been super fun.
Thanks.
Where can people find you, what you do, if they're not familiar with you and your channel?
It's just Tracy Campoli everywhere. So YouTube, Instagram, watch my shorts, watch my videos. But everything is Tracy Campoli.
Awesome. Any last words?
Thank you so much. Truly, I think you're the best. I can't
thank
speak
you.
highly enough of you. I think you're just amazing. And I'm so grateful for you and like our partnership. That's
I love
that's
it.
what it's all about.
Feelings mutual. I
Yeah.
love you too, Tracy. So
Thank
thank you. Bye.
Bye.